Hello everyone and welcome to TV Talks, the show where we take a look about the good and the bad of what television has to offer. So, a lot of people have been asking me to do Invader Zim. For obvious reasons, because it is a great show, and I was also the voice of Dib in the Invader Zim Doom movie, which please go and support that. I have a shout out video that provides a link to the channel, so go ahead and do it because it's really good. This show has gained massive popularity for, well, a lot of reasons, and I will go into them very soon. So what is it about? It's about this alien named Zim, or Invader Zim more specifically, and he is the worst alien invader ever. In fact, he almost destroyed his home planet in the first time he tried to invade in this massive invasion thing that they tried to have. So his alien leaders, in a hope to get rid of him, sent him to a planet so mysterious that no one has ever heard of it, and those who have heard of it dare not speak its name. What's its name? Oh, I dare not speak it. Actually, it's Earth. Because they didn't actually think it was there, they didn't even know if there really was a planet. But he's here now with his insane robot sidekick named Gur, and he is poorly disguised as a human and tries to get information on them so that he can take over the world. But he's so naive and ineffective that it doesn't really come off as that strong of an attempt. But of course, every hero, quote-unquote, needs their villain, quote-unquote, because a lot of people debate on to whether Zim is the hero of the story or the villain, because he's a main character, but he's got bad intentions. Anyways, the main villain antagonist guy is Dib, a giant-headed, insane paranormal expert guy who is set out to prove that Zim is in fact an alien! He's an alien! And is in fact the only one that can see through Zim's disguise. Along for the ride sometimes is just absolutely emotionally detached Sister Gaz, but she's not as plot relevant to what I'm describing here, so yeah. One thing that made the show really popular is its dark nature. Now at the time there were a few dark shows coming out there. We were just coming out of the Seattle grunge era, so it was expected that we got some darker stuff. But this was on Nickelodeon, the network for kids. None of the people who watched Nickelodeon expected or had seen anything like this from the network before. Sure, there were shows like As Told by Ginger or Hey Arnold that dealt with darker themes, or there were things like Rocko's Modern Life or Ren and Stimpy that are way more adult-oriented. But this is the one that balances both. It's gruesome, it's insane, it's darkly colored, it's darkly themed. All of it just screams not Nickelodeon friendly, and that's exactly what happened. I'm sure we're all aware of the history, and I will talk about that after I talk about the show itself. Because I'm going to judge the show at its own merit, not just the fact that it was this insane standout cartoon on a network that was mostly known for doing SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron, Hey Arnold, and that kind of stuff. The animation on the show is a lot of fun. It's darkly colored, like I said, which perfectly captures the atmosphere. The character designs are very weird looking, very strange, kind of surreal, but all unique. The characters are also a lot of fun. Zim is a perfect, ineffective villain/hero, while Gur, while he can be a bit overused sometimes, is still a boatload of fun, and his actor Ricky Simmons must have gone through a lot of bottles of water during a lot of their takes. In fact, I even have his autograph, as I pointed out in a previous video. As a kid, I used to not like Dib because I just thought he was kind of annoying and I thought Zim was way cooler. Now, maybe it's the fact that I actually got to voice him or that my interests have, well, developed more. But he's actually a lot stronger of a character. Yes, he is right, and yes, he does have good intentions, but he's also not the good guy. He's very arrogant, he's very selfish. He's not really doing it to save humanity, although he does claim that. He's more doing it to stroke his ego, as in this one episode we find out. When, if he does catch Zim, he's just going to exploit it to no end and make sure it furthers his career. Yeah, he's that kind of guy. Gaz, while I was a little down on her during the plot development thing, she's actually a lot of fun. Although she doesn't get to do much a lot of the time, when she does do stuff, it is fun. And my two favorites are the tallest, because where Zim comes from, the planet Urk, absolutely idolizes tallness. So, whoever the tallest seem to be the leaders, and it's these guys. I'm gonna tick off a lot of fans by saying this, but I think these two are the funniest on the show. How they can be threatening and commanding one second and then just complete idiots the next. Everything with them is always great, especially their bickering, because they don't really get along all that well. And these characters rarely ever have out-of-character moments. Whatever dark, twisted scenario they get thrown into, they're always perfectly in character. So what are these dark, twisted scenarios? Well, there's one where Zim goes around stealing people's organs to seem more human. Yeah, that one caused a lot of controversy. There's also one where Zim and Dib start turning into baloney and have to slowly find a cure for it. One where Gaz is waiting in line for a new Game Boy pseudo thing, and she doesn't get it, so she endlessly stalks the guy who kind of stole it from her. And by kind of, I mean actually did. It's these kind of insane yet ultimately dark, twisted things that just make the show so much fun. Some of my favorite episodes are the one where Zim gets lost and he has to try to find his way back. One where Gur becomes ultra serious and actually determined. Or an unproduced episode where Div tries to pursue real science! Which is one thing actually I should talk about. The unproduced episodes. So Nickelodeon never really liked Invader Zim. I mean, they gave it some promotion, and they did put it in the famous Not Just Cartoons Were Nicktoons song, but that was about it. Behind the scenes, it was a nightmare. Everyone from the actors, the creator, the writers, all of them had Nickelodeon breathing down their throat constantly to make the show more marketable, more kid-friendly. In other words, they wanted to turn something that was clearly not SpongeBob into something more like SpongeBob. Basically what they do up until these days, where they're slowly getting better. Which led to an entire season going right down the drain. Some of the animation and all of the voice acting were recorded, and it was all for nothing. They never got finished. However, a lot of the audio for these episodes have been uploaded, and some fan animations too. Check them out. They're really good. I mean, some of them aren't as good as the ones we actually got, but in some cases, like that one I mentioned, Mopiness of Doom, they're actually a little better. So yeah, Nickelodeon was not the place for Invader Zim to go, but would it have survived on another network? Hard to tell. I mean, the show is really good, but if it were on something like Disney, well, it wouldn't even get on, for one. If it was on Cartoon Network, it probably just kind of would have fallen to the wayside, because keep in mind, Cartoon Network had all these massive hits at the time, Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd n Eddy, even some more minor ones like Cow and Chicken, but they all were pushed constantly. There was no more room for any other shows. In fact, other shows that did come on at the time, like Mike Lunog and Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, were just suffocated. Granted, Mike Lunog wasn't any good, but still. And it certainly would have survived on Adult Swim, because then it just would have been another drop in the bucket compared to all the other things we had, like Space Ghost Coast to Coast or The Brak Show. It had to be on Nickelodeon to really stand out. Now, I'm not saying the quality would have been different, although it probably would have been a little bit different had it gone to another network, but the way it came together now is really good. And yes, I am aware that there is a movie coming out, and I will be seeing it, and I'll tell you what it's like according. Now, I gotta make one thing clear, though. Although I do think this is a very good show, I'm not by any means a super fan of it. I'm not one of those people who makes a religion around it or tries to do anything like that. Like dressing up as the characters every day, walking out into public with a sandwich board on their chest saying, "The end is near, the end is near, unless you buy these DVDs." Yeah, that's not me. I hope that hasn't happened. But yeah, I'm not a super fan of the show, but I do like it a lot. And that's enough to give it the Archibald seal of approval. So guys, what do you think of Invader Zim? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.